Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Dana Bennett joins us. She's the president on an interim basis of the Nevada Mining Association, here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers. Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. It's a 50,000 square foot hardware store and a whole lot more. It's huge, with clothing, power equipment, tools, and of course, hardware. Big R is located on Bering Boulevard in Sparks, next to Smith's and opposite Reed High School. Big R, hardware, and a whole lot more.
Come join the month-long celebration during the Carson Valley Inn 13th anniversary giveaways with guaranteed $1,000 winners every drawing night and a $13,000 grand prize winner guaranteed. Come celebrate with us during the 13th anniversary giveaways at the Carson Valley Inn.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Carson City. We're at the Bank Saloon here in the Conference Center with Dana Bennett. She is president of the Nevada Mining Association. Pleasure to have you back on the program in this new incarnation of you as president. You're interim president, correct?
Interim president, and thank you so much, Sam. It's delightful to be back with you again.
Well, thank you. So let's start out with lithium, which we've talked about so much on this program over the last few years. Thacker Pass is underway. Share with us what you can about lithium and its mining in the state of Nevada.
So lithium is a fascinating mineral to talk about. Nevada has been producing lithium for decades. This is not new for the state. But it was one of those quiet activities. The mine down by Tonopah at Silver Peak had been in operation, I think, since the early 60s, very
Right.
quietly moving along. And then the use of that mineral changed. And then that changed the demand for the mineral and the opportunity for Nevada to be a world leader in the production of something that is so critical to our future. And that's really one of the really cool things about Nevada. We have many minerals. Currently we're producing about 20, but we have many more, and you never know what's around the corner. You never know what technology is going to advance and what minerals will be needed. And lithium is a great example of, we didn't know 10 years ago, 15 years ago, how important this would be.
Right, because electric vehicles
Yes.
were hardly on the radar at that
Exactly,
point in time.
exactly.
And now it's a critical issue for the nation. It's a national security issue.
Absolutely.
And so we're seeing the federal government involved, the Department of Energy involved. And now what's been fascinating to watch with both Thacker Pass and also Rhyolite Ridge is that major auto companies are coming in and buying, which is, boy, I wish I could run a business like this, where they're taking as much of that product as they can, lithium and boron and other minerals, as much as they can, prior to the mines actually developing this.
Yeah.
So what does this say to you about the health of the mining industry, for these two products at least, in the state?
So I think it says that the health is positive, that it shows that mining continues to be, a relevant activity. Having been around Nevada for so long, that sometimes we look at mining as a historic artifact. But the reality is it is fundamental to innovation, to technological advances, to the kind of future that we talk about with electric vehicles and all of the other activities that we expect to be involved with in the future. And so I think for Nevada, that is a positive thing.
You're seeing environmental groups coming to the legislature and putting up objections to the mines, and it just strikes me as so bizarre, because one would expect environmental groups to be all in favor of green energy, clean energy, and electric vehicles certainly are something that is at the forefront of that. Mm-hmm. And the public in the United States seems to be all moving in that direction. I just bought an electric car myself, so I'm, join the club here. Yeah. And yet you've got this juxtaposition. How are you, as the Mining Association, handling this? And what are your points as a rebuttal?
So some of the folks who protest mining, I think, again, are looking at the industry as a historic artifact. They're looking at the way the industry operated in the 19th century, in the early 20th century, and not recognizing that Nevada has thoughtfully and carefully put a very stringent regulatory system in place. It began in 1989. You may remember some of those conversations. And in 1989, Nevada passed.
So this was Anaconda?
No, Anaconda would predate that, but certainly it has been part of that conversation. But in 1989, the Nevada legislature adopted, it took them 2 sessions to do it, but they adopted a very stringent reclamation law. And in essence, a mining company has to show how they will close before they even open.
Right.
So not only do you have automakers that are buying the product before it's even produced, but that company has to tell the state of Nevada and the federal government, this is how we will manage our environmental impact, and this is what will happen at closure before they've even opened the doors. And Nevada's regulatory system is strict on environmental standards, but also recognizing the economic importance of the industry to the state. And it's a model for the world. In 30 years, 2023 minus 1989, we'll do that math quickly.
34.
Getting close to we won't say high school reunion.
Yeah, no, it's 34 years.
That has been in place, and from that have been other standards that have come for management of air impacts, land impacts, water impacts. And other countries come to Nevada to understand how we do that, why we are so sophisticated at that. And so I think some of our opponents don't understand that there is a very strict regulatory system in place, and that the way the industry operates now has nothing in common with 1953.
All right, so one of the arguments is this pit lake argument. Mm-hmm. Can you explain what that is and why they're wrong, in your opinion?
So yes, there is some legislation moving through the Assembly right now that would address pit lakes. And a pit lake is formed, or it might be formed, at the end of mining operations. So there are mining operations in Nevada that are underground, and there are mining operations that dig a hole. If they go below the water table to extract the ore, then they have to move the water out of the way. And at the end of that mining operation, the water will come back in as the aquifer goes back into balance. And there are concerns, again, by our opponents that those pit lakes are not adequately regulated. But the reality is that the Nevada Division of Environmental Protection, the Nevada Division of Water Resources, State Water Engineer, the federal agencies are watching those very closely. And again, no mining operation can begin until they've explained how they're going to close. And they have to explain how they're going to manage a pit lake if it's going to even appear. Each pit lake is different depending on its location, its geology, the type of mining that went on at the time. And NDEP looks at each of those in an individual way. It's like a fingerprint. A pit lake could end up being very beneficial to a community, and a great example is the Sparks Marina. That's a pit lake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, well, that's an irony there. It was a gravel pit,
right,
forever,
right,
and but it was always being pumped out because water was coming up from the table,
right,
and it was supposed to be that it was going to take a decade to fill,
yeah.
and then we had a flood,
right,
and then it was full.
I think it filled in a weekend.
It did. It was
took out I-80 in the process.
Yes, it did, and I was working that weekend. So yes, and for example, on the Humboldt River. Mining up in northeast Nevada has pumped hundreds of millions of gallons of water into the Humboldt River, and now you have companies that are looking to sell that excess water down the road at some point if they're able to get everything put in place there. So there may be beneficial, portions from this as well, beyond mining itself.
Exactly. The mining's use of water, consumptive use of water, is actually quite small.
They're more getting it out of the way,
right? They're moving it, and then it comes back, and that is all under the purview of the state water engineer. And I wanted to touch on, though, pumping into the Humboldt River. That was one of the early approaches to moving that water, and it turned out not to be an environmentally good idea. And so we very rarely pump water into the Humboldt River. Water can be used as it's moved out of the way for mining operations. It can be used in place of another right, so perhaps to water alfalfa. It can be infiltrated, and it must be treated so that it does not adversely impact the local streams and eventually the Humboldt River. So we are not pumping millions and millions of gallons into the Humboldt River because that raised the temperature too high. And so we learned, the state learned, and we all adapted.
All right, so with your experience with mining and the history of the state, term limits has been a fascinating exercise, not one that I'm particularly excited about, just because I think we've lost so much institutional knowledge in the legislature because of it. But how is it for you coming back each session, and now a third of a legislature is turned over? You have to go and explain all of this to all the new legislators. What's the reception like from you, or for you, rather?
The reception has been very positive. I think for the most part, and I've always thought this about legislators, they do have the best interests of the state and their district at heart. And they are interested in the complex conversations that certainly Nevada now in the 21st century is a much more complex place than when you and I first showed up around here. And I have found them all receptive to learning. And the challenge and it doesn't matter if it's mining or if it's tech or if it's gaming or whatever the economic activity is in the state, there's an educational component that simply continues all the time. It just must.
And they're receptive to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back more with Dana Bennett after
Great.
this timeout.
Located in the heart of Carson City, the Bank Saloon is a historic watering hole with a modern feel. With a variety of classic cocktails featuring Nevada spirits, space for private events, conferences, and an incredible atmosphere, the Bank Saloon offers a great location to work and play. Come visit us. Located at the corner of 5th and Carson, we'll save you a drink.
It's the Lucky Lexus Cash and Free Play giveaways at Tamarack. Weekly cash and free play winners plus a $20,000 cash winner guarantee. And drive home a brand new Lexus NX30 or walk away with $42,500 in cash. It's a good time to win at Tamarack Casino.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving northern Nevada one industry at a time.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Dana Bennett. She's the president of the Nevada Mining Association, at least the interim president. And you know, what are your major concerns, you know, at this legislative session? I mean, you know, there was an agreement in the last session for mining to contribute a large amount of money towards education. I had discussions with the previous president about that, and we don't need to go down that road. People can go on the website and find the previous conversations. But what are your biggest concerns at this session?
Well, Sam, it goes back to what we were talking about right before the break. It's providing information. Nevada's mining industry is a responsible industry. It is a sophisticated industry. It is not a historic artifact, and it is critical to the future that we all envision for Nevada.
Okay, how many people are involved, you know, in mining at this point in time?
So, in terms of employment, we're looking at around 40,000, give or take, and you know that's not a large percentage of Nevada's employment base, but we also have some of the highest paid employees in the state, with good benefits, good jobs. We're very proud of the jobs that we offer Nevadans in the state. And I'm sure as you've talked to mining employees over the years, they're very proud of their industry. And it's not every industry has that kind of support.
No, to say the least. Let me ask you, Senator Goa-Kachia was on the program, and he was talking about gridlock on US 95, potentially because of you know, the new mine up there. Is that something the Mining Association gets involved with in terms of talking to NDOT and trying to work out those kind of issues?
So those issues in general, yes, we can be involved in, but mostly those are company-specific issues. And we have a tremendous track record among our members of addressing traffic issues. And a great example is Elko. There are 4,000, 5,000 people who commute in and out of the Carlin Trend area. Those are a lot of cars.
Which is amazing, yes.
Yes, a lot of cars. And part of that is a 2-lane road. And the companies that operate in that area offer transportation. So if before your shift you can get on a bus that's comfortable and let somebody else do the driving, and that removes, excuse me, that removes greenhouse gas emissions from the interstate. It removes the number of cars that could be a safety issue. So we are very cognizant of that issue, and our members address that diligently.
And we've seen mining be so beneficial to so many areas in Northeast Nevada, and then also coming down to places like Eureka. I mean, Eureka has boomed because of mining.
Sure.
So it's interesting. Let me ask you, this is kind of a goofy question, but one I thought was worth answering, which is we know that there's going to be continued expansion of mining, for gold mining in Northeast Nevada. But at what point do they forecast that, you know, mining might end in Nevada as far as gold mining goes?
Wow, if you and I could answer that question, that would be something. Because when you think about it, you know, think about Nevada's history. And we are all told that Nevada became a state because we were silver miners. And then mining disappeared. But the reality is it never did disappear. We are still mining silver here in the Silver State, 150 plus years later. Silver is what attracted them in the 1860s. Currently, there's only one mine in Nevada that is predominantly a silver mine. Silver tends to be a byproduct of other activities. So there really isn't an answer to that question. As technology advances, as processing improves, opportunities continue. And I think Nevada will always be a mining state.
You know, it's interesting because, going from the old gold mining practices and then the changeover, probably 40, 50 years ago, of when they started to get more minute particles of gold and being able to mine that. So are you looking at technology beyond that, of where you can extract even more from the dirt that may contain even more microscopic particles?
So one of the other areas in which Nevada has excelled, and we don't talk about this a lot, is the development of that technology. And it's been developed at what we knew as the Mackey School of Mines, the Mackey School of Earth Sciences and Engineering. That ability to process the ore in a more efficient, more environmentally responsible way, that research is going on all the time. So yes, I expect that technology and innovation will change how mining how ore is excavated and how it's processed, because we have a history of that. Square set timbering at the Comstock Lode was designed here in Nevada and spread around the world. Cyanide application to ore to extract those smaller particles of gold, that was developed in Nevada and spread around the world. So we have been a leader in the innovation of excavation and processing our entire history.
All right, let's take another break. We'll be back with Dana Bennett after this timeout.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Dana Bennett. She is the interim president of the Nevada Mining Association. Besides gold, lithium, silver, and I would guess boron, what other things are we predominantly mining in Nevada?
Copper. We are one of the country's best producers of copper. And that is something that began early in the 20th century and like the other minerals has waned and waxed, but Eastern Nevada has been known as a copper producer close to 100 years, and now we're seeing the production of copper on the western side of Nevada with the projects by Yerington. So, and none of this, electric vehicles, renewable energy, they must have copper.
Okay, it seems that there has been a struggle to get the copper mining, in this modern day, off the ground. Is there a reason for that, or is it just the financial markets, or what is your thought on that?
There are several reasons. Again, we're talking about advancing technology, and sometimes the technology lags a little bit behind the activity.
Because I mean, things like copper theft seem to be so high that one would think that, you know, if the value of copper is that great, then if you have a copper mine with the potential already there, why isn't it booming already?
You don't need a permit to steal copper off of cars.
Well, that's true.
But a mine
but
does
you think
require...
that's the biggest issue, is the permitting?
It is a major issue. And it comes back to finding that balance between evaluating projects responsibly and thoughtfully and moving forward quickly. And that is the challenge that the state is in. How do we ensure that the projects that are being proposed are responsible and thoughtful, and that the public health and safety is protected, while also moving things forward economically, because there is also an importance of the economy to the state. And that's the challenge for the state, to balance that.
So we have obviously huge gold production. Lithium appears to be another huge thing, and I don't think that we're done with discovering how much lithium is really here. It just seems that we are going to continue to be a huge mining state for a long time to come.
I think so. You know, as I said at the beginning, we don't know how technology will change the demand for minerals. We know that Nevada has vanadium, which might be the next great battery storage opportunity. Yeah, so yes, we will continue to be a mining state and a responsible world-class mining state.
And that's where we have to leave it. Dana Bennett,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this as always.
Thank you, Sam.
Congratulations on being back at the Mining Association, even if only on an interim basis, because at least we now have somebody who understands the history.
Great. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, and we'll be right back. As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Hi, I'm Renee Summerauer, digital news anchor here at 7 at 7. Watch our streaming nonstop newscast immediately with your mobile phone. 7 at 7 is the new way for you to get every bit of local news you need in just 7 minutes. Breaking news, local neighborhood news, weather, and sports are just a click away. Reporters bring you all of what's happening in the Valley. From Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, and more. Get every bit of local news you need from the RJ and LVRJ.com.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room at the Bank Saloon. Coverage of the 2023 legislative session is brought to you by Liberty Dental Plan, making members shine one smile at a time. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. The Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, your RTC, our community. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. And by Nevada Builders Alliance, building a better Nevada.
Our thanks to the Bank Saloon in Carson City and the Builders Alliance for their help with our coverage of the 2023 legislative session. We'll see you on the next broadcast.